Alright guys, welcome to Coach's Corner. Really, this is why I stream, to see you guys improve, to see players improve, and enjoy the game. To enjoy raiding as much as I enjoyed raiding today. I loved it today. You know what? I love seeing people improve and wipe and wipe and wipe and wipe. And PvE is the best part of Warcraft because you wipe 100 times, doesn't matter, however long it takes, and you find that puzzle, you find that right composition to get the boss down. And you wipe as many times as it takes, and you improve, and you see that constant progress as gamers. And it's great. And then once you finally kill a boss, you've seen a bunch of my reactions in the past there with Scotch, or with many F-bombs, and it's such a huge relief off your shoulders, and it's awesome. It's a great feeling. Your sarcasm is noted. Yeah, pretty much. Now we're all friends again, where we have regular Sparty and then we have regular Sparty. So we're going to talk about prepping, not the doomsday kind of prepping, but preparing for raids. And this is really tailored to normal and heroic raiders, not so much mythic raiders. Mythic raiders should be 10 levels ahead of this already. Now, we'll talk about, in general, preparing for raids, or preparing for a Blackrock Foundry, the brand new instance. We're excited for it. It's going to be so much fun. We've beta tested most of the bosses, we've tested them on PTR, and you guys will have a killer time in Blackrock Foundry. Blizzard has done a fantastic job designing the fights, for the most part, minus Iron Maidens. That is a terrible fight.
Still?
I don't know. I'm sure they're going to have us test it because they have their own QA testing team that can't do anything. So, in terms of prepping, there's why prep. I mean, Sparty, why you have to be mad? It's just a game. Yeah, it is a game. I totally understand that. It is totally a game. However, you need to prepare. You want to raid 6-7 days a week, 50 hours a week, totally fine. However, people want to raid less hours these days because we have, more of a real life. That's fine. Whether you raid 2 days a week, 3 days, 4, 5, 6, whatever, it doesn't matter. You always prepare for raids. Now, there's different levels of preparation. And why? Well, if you prepare for raids, it saves lots of potential lost time wiping. So, that wipe that just happened, that 5, 10, 30 minutes of boss time, could have been averted had you been better prepared. Had people read about the encounters or whatever. It saves a lot of frustration. You know how frustrating sometimes it gets. And it does ensure that every member is on the same page in terms of strategy, that they're on the right ads, they're interrupting in the right order. Even today, we could have set things up a little bit better, so there was zero confusion, better preparation. 30 minutes of wiping could have been averted had we just put a color before our interrupt order. Little things like that make a huge difference. Now, there's a ton of resources available to you guys right now as raiders, normal, heroic, whatever. I'll take people's questions afterwards. Guys, if you could wait for questions about guilds and things like that afterwards, I'll happily answer them as long as I have time, and Driz doesn't kill me because she's really hungry. Yeah, so there's a ton of resources out there. Now, back in my day. So I've been playing this game for 10 years. Oh, God. I guess it's my guild's anniversary, 10 years. 10 plus years. Since September 2004, I raided an EverQuest. I was Vanilla Raider, Hardcore, BC Raider, Hardcore. I've done all the bosses. I've cleared everything. Back in my day, there was none of this, strats. There was no videos. There was no cooldown spreadsheets. There was none of this crap. There was no logs. All you had was damage meters. Who's doing the most damage? Okay, well, numbers were skewed anyway, right? There wasn't a full, proper combat log. These days, the dynamic of raiding has shifted tremendously. There's so much more preparation. Now it's loot funneling, and I despise loot funneling so much. But every guild that stays competitive needs to do it because that's what guilds do, unfortunately. So, first step. It is a new boss, okay? You are going to Blackrock Foundry. What is the first thing you want to do? Let's say we're going to look at Gruul, right? Well, what do I know about Gruul? I killed him in Burning Crusade. He's back? I guess so. So go to your Dungeon Journal. Dungeon Journal has really good basic mechanics of what you want to cover. And Blizzard, years and later, finally got their shit together and put in a Dungeon Journal, which shows you a breakdown of what you should be doing. Here as a healer, as a damage dealer, as a tank. This is a bit more complicated fight for an average tank because of all the little mechanics here. So it shows you, taunt Gruul into a cluster of players in order to share the damage from Inferno Strike. Oh, cool. So it shows me what the ability does, and tells me exactly what to do. A cluster of players. A cluster, what does a cluster mean? Well, I guess we can find that out later on. Quickly taunt Gruul away from players after Inferno Slice to stop overwhelming blows from hitting unintended targets. So, quick tank swap. He Inferno strikes one group, makes it a little bit easier. But Dungeon Journal in general, it shows you quick overview of what you're supposed to do. Stay away from people with Petrify here. That's for all for DPS and healers. So you watch out for the Shatter. Players must stand in close proximity to another to share Infernal Slice. So this is pretty good overview. If you want to go more in depth, of course, you have your abilities, and you can read exactly what they do, what they're tailored to. So there's a tank ability. There is a oh, that's Mythic. Sorry. There. There is major raid damage or whatever. So it really helps you counteract. Dungeon Journal at a very basic level for a normal raider, just glance at it. Depending on what level of raiding you do, whether it's normal, heroic, or mythic, or just even LFR. This is totally fine for LFR. That's all you really got to do. But as you get into more raiding, then it'll get a little more complicated. Strategy websites. Back in my day, back in Molten Core, there were no strat websites. There was Conquest, the first guild to really release their strats after they got banned, and they were a guild that liked to exploit everything. Yeah, there were no strat sites. There were some guides out there that websites paid other guilds. When you were an old school raider, you never shared strats. Strats were your little baby as a guild, and you never shared them because guilds were so competitive, until people started really releasing them closer to the end of Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King. These days, what do we have? Let me pull it up for you guys. What do we have in terms of strat websites? Well, here's one I always recommend. They should start paying me royalties for this one. This one's Icy Veins. Icy Veins is a pretty good breakdown of the encounters. Here they released the first three: Gruul, Beastlord Darmak, and Orgorger. Pretty solid. If I click on one of these strats here, it shows you Introduction, Normal, Heroic, the Enrage Timer, a succinct version of the entire fight, what the healer should be aware of, what DPS do. DPS Gruul, that's great. What everyone should do here in terms of splitting up for Petrifying Slam, cave-ins, what to do. Phase by phase, a strat, and, of course, little diagrams. Diagrams are great because, you remember, you have your audio learners, you have your visual learners, and your kinesthetic learners as well. So it gives you a good breakdown of the encounters for normal and heroic, and that's what really the stream is more tailored towards. Yeah, it's a great resource out there. And, of course, there's more. There's Icy Veins. Sorry, Mana Flask. Mana Flask has some decent guides as well. Method, one of the top guilds in the world. They're EU. They've been releasing some of their, their guides for you guys. Here's Method and Wowhead. They released their Tectis videos, written Mythic Highmall guides. This is, again, for more Mythic raiders. So there's a ton of resources out there for you guys. Just look around. Here there's a video guide, an explanation, what to do for every single phase for you guys. There's plenty of resources. No reason you're not using these things. And of course there's Noxic. Please never use Noxic ever. Noxic's a terrible resource. It has nothing for you, nothing of value ever. So there's a number of other websites out there as well, whether you're the old school EJ guys or you're an MMO champ. I know a lot of you guys frequent here, like Draco, MMO champ, and you can ask questions. Hey, my guild is struggling on this boss. We can't manage to interrupt whatever on Brackenspore. How do you guys manage? Ask questions to people. MMO champ is another great resource for you guys for just asking, good raiders. So reading through those strats and abilities on these websites is one of the most useful tools. They give you a great overview in general. Yeah, it's awesome. Use them. Now YouTube. YouTube is fantastic. Okay, YouTube. God, what did we have before YouTube? When did YouTube even come out? Do you remember? Yes, no. I don't know when YouTube came out. But YouTube, there's so many guides right now. If I click here, I'm just going to search for Brackenspore Guide. Okay, so Brackenspore Guide. Here's an example of what shows up when I hit Brackenspore Guide into YouTube. There's Fat Boss. Everybody loves their Fat Boss guides. There's Aliena's. I've never seen this one. There's more Fat Boss ones depending on which week it was. How to Brackenspore by Nerd General. There's Gitter Raid. These ones are really pretty solid as well, the German ones. There's Brackenspore Guide by Method here. There's one by Gabesta. There's a shit ton. There's Sparkhugs. A lot of really prominent raiders and good raiders will show you these fights. And they'll explain ability by ability what to do or what they did. YouTube is a fantastic resource. When going into Blackrock Foundry, and you're going to be doing the first 3 or 4 bosses, then of course, do it. Just look them up. Warcraft movies. Yeah, there's so much shit. Yeah, Warcraft movies before YouTube. Oh, there you go. Thanks. Thanks, Silly Monkey. 2006. Yeah, Frosty Bites. No, that's okay. That fake. I'm not going to explain Black Hand right now. No, not right now. So, YouTube, another great resource for you guys. Beyond that, what else can you do? Get advice from experienced players. Here, we're really lucky in the stream that we have a lot of intelligent players. We have very minimal trolls. Trolls are just banned, and it wastes like nobody's time. Just ban, click, they're done. So we really foster a great community here where people are helpful. Where we have top raiders in the world. We have the Aladias, the Shuttles, the Dells, like great paladins, great Death Knights, hunters, warlocks, whatever, that have cleared all content. They are hardcore raiders. They're not assholes. They are great contributors to our community. They're making our community a better place because they're trying to impart their knowledge onto us. I look to people that are better than me. I ask those paladins questions. So when you have a new encounter, let's say you haven't done an encounter, ask those players, and I have, hey man, how do you deal with this mechanic as a paladin? What kind of tips do you have for a paladin doing, I don't know, whatever, I'm trying to think of one off of my head. I don't know, I can't remember. Or Orgorger, what talent did you use for Orgorger during Phase 2? Those are good questions to ask, not, how do I paladin on this fight? Tell me everything you know. Well, ask intelligent questions. Ask really, really intelligent ones. Alina's Tank Spot, she's the girl who did the voice for most of the old Tank Spot videos. That's who it is! Thanks, Churl. Thanks a lot. I knew it was familiar. The old school Tank Spot ones. Old school. Yeah, Shuttles and Blood Legion, Aladias and Method, Dells and Reckoning on Manoroth, super helpful people, super helpful. And again, it's a great community. If I can't answer your questions, somebody else in chat here can, because they're not assholes. Elite like hardcore raiders, not all of them, some are, but here we're building a better community. So because you guys are the next generation of raiders. Good raiders is a dying breed. That hardcore mentality, it's dying out. It's been dying out for years. But you guys, we're trying to motivate you, inspire you to be our applicants. We want you to raid. You see what's expected of a lot of those mythic guilds, and this is just very basic prep here, so you know exactly what to do. So, beyond that, you have streams, right? Like I said here, get advice from those experienced players. You can watch streams. There's a bunch of really hardcore streamers out there, and really good streamers that will explain the fights. I don't know any off the top of my head, any paladins that stream that are holy paladins that are really helpful to you guys. I'm not aware of any, that go fight by fight and explain these. I don't know. Maybe you can suggest one to me. Now, logs. Back in my day, we had 0 logs. We had nothing. We had absolute jack shit. With logs, they're so useful. If you are a raid leader and you're not sure how many healers to bring to this fight, check your logs. Check your logs. So let's pull up some logs. Let me go to Warcraft logs, and Warcraft logs is really the most prominent logging website right now. So let's say I want to look at a fight like, let's look at Mythic Imperator, because that's what's on everybody's minds today. Go to zones here, Heimal, Imperator, right there. So this shows me DPS rankings for Imperator, right? Totally fine. In general, we don't want to look at the top rankings because they're always pretty skewed and they're just amazing players. Look, somewhere down the line here, let's look at, I don't know, I know most of these guilds. What's a pretty solid guild here? Pananza's pretty good. Let me try to find, where's Echoes, maybe? Oh, sorry, one sec. Echoes, there we go. Echoes. Riffy. I know Riffy because I saw them do this. Riffy healers from Echoes, they're a pretty solid guild. Now, as a raid leader, I don't know how many healers to bring, right? I could ask my friends, or I could look at logs here. So on their mythic kill, they clearly brought 5 healers. Mistweaver, a Disc, a Holy Paladin, a Druid, and a Shaman. A pretty balanced healing composition. They did a great job. How many tanks do they bring? Well, we can look at damage taken as well. Look, 3 tanks. Really easy to figure out there. What kind of damage dealers do they bring? Well, they brought these ones. Why is Enhancement so strong? Well, you look at the breakdown of what they actually damage. The Night Twisting Faithfuls, which are in Phase 4, AoE is godly on this fight, and Cleaves are amazing. So it gives you a rough understanding of what classes to bring. If I go back here a couple steps. Let's go back a couple steps, please. Oh, sorry, that's too many. Okay. This rankings shows you the best DPS classes for this fight. Are you not sure whether to bring a Frost Mage or Arcane Mage or Fire Mage? Well, that's fine. We can just take a look here and look at which mages are best. Tell me on this fight. Looks like Fire is doing pretty solid right now. Arcane, Frost, a decent mix of mages, but you have to read into context why these mages are doing so much damage. These ones are doing so much damage because of the ad phase later on. But what is your guild struggling on? Single target, cleaves, whatever. Let's look at, I don't know, Warriors. Warriors is another great example here. Is Fury or Arms better as a DPS? What do we see here? 90% of Warriors are Arms, right? Some prot ones, yeah, some, I think there's one Gladiator somewhere here, but for the most part, they are Arms because of the cleave later on, and it's awesome. My Raiders left it, I don't. Well, that's fine, Draco. We can't be awesome at everything. Yeah, so Fury or Arms. Fury is okay. I mean, it depends on what their assignment is as well, and whether they value more single target or AoE. But let's give you a general understanding of what classes you need to bring, or classes are best. That's it. But, you know, remember to bring the player, not just the class. You know, a really smart, I don't know, Elemental Shaman would be better than a really dumb Red Paladin, for example. Okay? Blay Arms, says Augie. Yeah. I mean, there's some decent rankings here. It depends. I mean, if you're topping the meters as a Fury warrior, that could be a different situation as well. But in general, Warcraft Logs is great. Because you're also able to analyze shit. I can analyze. Let's go back to. Can I go back to? Where is their little? Their thing here. Where is Riffy's? Let's look at their parse again here. Laughing Skull EU. I like this guild because they have good people. So we can split up by damage. What are they doing? When are they potting? When are they casting Heroism? Well, now I know. Cast Heroism at the start here. They got another one here for somebody else. And here they're casting Heroism in the last phase as well. So we know that. That's great. Fantastic. Who are they healing? What kind of damage are they breaking down? What are they casting for interrupts? You know, all this stuff. Which one are they interrupting here? So let's go look at intermission number 1. These are their interrupts right now. Let's just go zoom in to here. There. These are all of their interrupts. When they cast a Consat interrupted first, then, you know, then Zang pummeled, then Paltos. You really have to analyze logs, and we had a great Coach's Corner for you guys about how to read logs. Okay, we can go through it again. I spent 3 hours explaining how Warcraft Logs works, how to log, how to look at parses, how to analyze, like how to compare yourself to other people of the same class, and item level, all that stuff. But logs is another great tool to prepare you guys for Blackrock Foundry. You know, there's logs out there potentially right now of Blackrock Foundry. No, maybe not. Shit's broken. But we do have combat logs from it. Look at the logs. Yeah, later on. Consider through that steer. Yeah, I know. So, next thing. I mean, we have logs, which are great. Once you have your strat planned out, and this is really a newer thing the last couple years with Cataclysm, with Mists of Pandaria. One of the next best things is to really set up cooldown rotations. And now, this is more true in Mythic rating, or what used to be called Heroic rating. Here's an example of our spreadsheets for, like, spreadsheets show cooldowns of when you're supposed to use Devotion, or when you're supposed to interrupt, or when you're supposed to do whatever. They're just a good strat overview. This is our cooldown spreadsheet for Siegecrafter Heroic / Mythic. Okay, during the first magnetic we use these cooldowns here, second magnetic these cooldowns, third magnetic these ones, and then here you can see which wave, which one gets empowered, and which ones we killed. Okay, and then which way we're running as well. So that's, you know, a bit of a visual spreadsheet. Let's look at Not Shove Pride here. Naurshen. This was our DPS order for going down. Protectors, really easy. You know, set up major cooldowns. Your Devotionaries, Revivals, Calamities, Infernal Strike, whatever. This one's a little bit more complicated. This one was our Mythic Garage. So in Phase 1, you use these cooldowns. In Phase 2, you use all of these cooldowns, so you know exactly when to use it. At roughly 2 minutes and 33 seconds in, Sparty is casting Light's Hammer. Next whirling, you know, around 3:37, I'm casting my next hammer. Because, again, a minute comes up because Light's Hammer, 1 minute cooldown. Here, we had set up interrupts. Interrupts were usually not an issue because people were responsible for certain ones. We set up which one you're interrupting, which one you're DPSing, all that stuff. the more you prepare, the easier it'll be. So this was, for example, our Siege of Orgrimmar ones. We had our... Where are they? Here's our... Thanks a lot for the tip there. Captain Digas, thanks a lot. Much appreciated. Unnecessary, but thank you. Thanks a ton. This is our spreadsheet here for Heimel. Kargat, Blade Fist, bit of a diagram for you guys. Bombers, grunts, DPS priority. This is Brackenspore. This might help some of you guys here. Oh, what happened? Come back. Come back, Brackenspore. This is our Brackenspore cooldown. So the very first Necrotic, the second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, whatever. These are the interrupt orders. So Lurch interrupts first, then Schaumburg. Zundir interrupts first, then Nisana. Dokazil interrupts first, then Bruanfu. So we have 3 groups of 2 interrupting. So group 1, group 2, group 3, just for redundancy. These people are on flamethrowers, all that stuff. Korag here, what do we have for Korag? Yeah, so Korag, again, this shows you as well. This is, again, for Mythic. The first ball is straight up damage. Second ball, because every evens are mind controls. So second one, only Valk gets mind controlled. Okay, just Valk takes 1. Third set, it's 1 takes damage. Valk and Yendar soak the other 2. The fourth set, 3 people get MC'd. The fifth set, it's straight up damage, 4 people soak. The sixth set, 4 people get MC'd, 2 take damage. And then 7th set and so on. So it shows you when to use your cooldowns. Similar things here. There's for the Butcher, Tectis, this one's pretty funny. Use all cooldowns on second upheaval, which is pretty much true, right? And shows you our strat here. And for Imperator, of course, it has our cooldowns and where you're standing and that kind of stuff for much of the earlier phases. If you guys want to use this, feel free. It's all locked, so you can't edit it. But feel free to share with your guilds or use it, change it, whatever. That's where, I mean, people share each other's strats and spreadsheets these days, so it's not a big deal. Okay. So, strats, cooldowns, spreadsheets, those are all so beneficial. Set them up, well in advance. Now, some of you, again, for those really visual people, I've got, this is right straight from my blog here that I'm going off of for my notes. This is, can you guys guess what boss this is? I'm going to scroll in here for a little bit more. So, based off the diagram, just guess what boss it is. This is, the boss is going, grah, and this person is saying, yes, I can tank in the comfy frosty stuffs. And these guys are casting spells, these casters, and these people are sort of attacking from behind, but they're not. There's 2 tanks. Like, this is a really old diagram of heroic Ragnaros that Driaz drew, because Driaz is so artistic. She's actually way more artistic than I am. It's not Gruul, no, but it is Ragnaros. Everything is a Dorito, apparently. I don't know. She just draws Dorito bosses, I guess with shapes and whatever. So, make diagrams for your guild. It's totally fine to draw your raid members a friggin' picture. It is totally okay. I've seen PowerPoint presentations done, like really awesome ones, on step by step by step, what you are doing every single phase, 30 seconds into the fight. Here, a much nicer website is bossblueprint.com. Here you can see, where tanks should be standing, where DPS should be standing. You can assign people. I'm standing in the top left healer spot. Great. That's me. That's where I'm standing in general. But yeah, draw your raiders a picture. That is totally fine. A lot of guilds will do this, so everybody's on the same page. Okay. Yeah, so draw diagrams. I mean, I could share so many more with you guys, even really old ones and good ones and bad ones. Yeah, anyway. But one of the best ways to really prep for a boss is actual experience. So last night, for those of you that were there, yeah, it's Butcher. Last night, those of you there, I did a viewer run on PTR. I took a bunch of you guys, viewers, subs, and guildies through the first 4 bosses in Blackrock Foundry. You guys got first-hand experience on strats, on what to do for the bosses, on everything. We wiped, we learned, shit's overtuned a little bit, but your gear was scaled down to 650 anyway. You know exactly what to do now. That first-hand experience is incredible. So a lot of us tested stuff on PTR, and that was great, but, remember, the encounters do change a little bit. Sorry, on beta. Beta months ago, back in, like, August and July, when things were on farm. yeah, I mean, that experience is incredible. You know, that muscle memory, that is what makes you most comfortable in a raid. You can watch as many videos as you want, do all the cooldown spreadsheets, but actually having practice in the encounter, knowing when to use your cooldowns, when people are taking major damage, that's key. You know, that's why I'm so comfortable doing, what's his face? Mythic Imperator, because I know exactly when my cooldowns are going to be used. You know, I know exactly which heal is going to be used when, because it's all very predictable. Do I have my videos ready for the PTR stuff? I've got a couple here. I mean, it depends on how much time I have, Griff. I may go over 1 or 2 videos. I don't want to go through all of them tonight, but I'm going to split it up later on. Here is a diagram I made for my people having in my guild. Let me just take a look at this. Let's see here. See, look, this is another great diagram. See, people use lots of diagrams. Thanks, Ricari, for linking this. Phase 1 and 2, Brand jumps out of 4 or 5 stacks directly backwards. Nova always moves through them, never cast through them. So don't let it, you know, don't let it push you back in Phase 1 and 2. In Phase 3, or the first transition phase here, anomalies. I mean, he did, what, he used the minimap and made it larger or something? That works too. Here, Phase 3, you know, which way they're running. Tank on gray, gates to purple. So it looks like they gateway this way, and they are running left or right. Okay? And then here, Reaver used all offensive cooldowns and heroism, kill it ASAP. Tank will pick up the Reaver and other anomalies. Reaver to be tanked in the middle, anomalies where they spawn. Cool. That's exactly it. And then Phase 4, where everybody just spread the hell out. Spread the F out. Nova of fuck melee. So yeah, I mean, it's a diagram. That's exactly what you need. You gotta prep your raiders exactly like that. But find what works for your guild. You know, little diagrams like that, Doritos may not work for your guild. Maybe you need, you know, to hold their hands even more, or even less. Maybe they're really capable raiders. But preparing for the raids is huge. Like, it'll save you so much time. You know, you can compare yourself. I compared logs of myself and other holy paladins that have killed Mythic Imperator, just to make sure I'm doing the exact same thing that they are. Not that saying that that thing will be right for my guild, but in general, am I healing the right people? Am I using the right spell breakdowns? Am I using the cooldowns effectively? You know, when are they using their cooldowns? When are they using their potions? When are they regenning? How are they standing? All those things can be looked at through logs, and you need to really prepare yourselves, otherwise you'll be wasting everybody's time. Which is my big point here. Okay, and to finish it off, I mean, these points, and all of, again, all of this is linked on the blog here. Those are all, like, preparation things I would expect of normal and heroic raiders. If you're, you know, a pretty average normal heroic raider, and that's good, great, I want to see you guys raid, that kind of level of preparation is pretty good. You don't have to go to super in-depth like I did there with Mythic Imperator logs, comparing things, and just going... When you guys don't see me streaming, I'm either doing work, or I'm looking at logs, or I'm recruiting. That's it. There's very little time that actually I'm playing games or doing other stuff. A lot of it's just work, or stream work, or guild work, or whatever. But I want to make sure that I'm being the best goddamn player in the raid every single time. I hold myself to the highest standard. I am not allowed to make mistakes. It does happen, right? You've seen me blow up one mine in like 112 attempts. I'm not allowed to make raid wiping mistakes. I hold myself to that high standard. Then my officers, and my veterans, my members, and then of course the apps. But no, you gotta lead by example as well. And what else here? So just remember, though, at the end of the day, we are real people. Again, you know, we make mistakes. We have really bad nights some nights. You guys have seen me a couple weeks ago. I had just really terrible, just awful raid nights. I died 2 or 3 times to a boss, and like that's unheard of for me. I don't die to stupid mechanics ever, because I focus on mechanics, then everything else. You know, as a raid leader, I need to be watching the rest of my raid, and again, leading by example. So, to finish off here, at the end of the day, we're real people with real lives, right? We're not all 50-hour-a-week raiders. We have limited time. Do what you can to prepare and understand that you're wasting the time of 9 to 29 other people by not knowing the mechanics of the fight. Do your due diligence preparing. Just, you know what? Watch a video. Read the strats over. Depending on how hardcore of a guild you are, you may want to do more or less work. But put in that effort. You know, if you're a mythic guild, you're expected of a lot. If you're a normal guild or a heroic guild, you may not need to do as much. But put in that effort, prepare for those raids, and we will be going over Blackrock Foundry videos as well. Yeah, exactly. Like my very first garage kill, when I died 3 times. That was just crazy and unheard of. Okay, and that's pretty much it for Coach's Corner for tonight. That was my corner, my big spiel to you guys. Depending on how much time I have here, I might be able to answer questions as well as... It was Boss Blueprint, yeah. It was Boss Blueprint. It's all on the blog here. All the links and everything that I used tonight, guys, it's all there on that website. Let me see how much time I have here before Driez decides to get really hangry. Driez? Do I have time to do like a boss here or no?
Whatever.
You want to get food still?
Yeah, but whatever.
Okay, so I'm going to go through a couple bosses really quick here and answer some people's questions. Give me a sec here. Okay, so we are going to go through a boss like Gruul. Or we can go through Gruul and Orgorge. It's up to you guys. So I'll go through some videos of them. Why don't we go through Orgorger first? Now, Orgorger, again, at a basic level, we'll go through 2 bosses tonight. What does Orgorger do? Well, he has a couple different abilities. Let's look at normal, heroic. It's really the same abilities as normal and heroic. We'll see what they do. So, step by step, Wretched Blackrock. It regurgitates Blackrock or at a target, leaving a pool of acid. Awesome. So it's a pool of acid. I know how to deal with pools of acid. Don't stand in them. Done. Explosive Shards launches an explosive shard, inflicting physical damage and knocking back enemies. Probably, and he prefers, melee people. So I probably don't want to be in melee range either. Let's see here. Blackrock Barrage, something interruptible. Fantastic. So I may need to set up an interrupt order. Interrupt 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. Multiple groups interrupting. That's fine. Because this shit is avoidable. 67,000 damage to all enemies. Completely avoidable. I don't want to be healing that crap. Nobody cares about HPS. Acid Maw. Carvers a target in acid, inflicting nature damage every 2 seconds for 8 seconds. That is a tank alert. So it's a tank ability. Here's Acid Torrent. This is an important one. Okay, very, very important. Deadly. Sprays a cone of acid at a ranged target. So it hits ranged only. Okay, I'm following there so far. For 500,000 damage. That's a lot of freaking damage. To the closest target, increases the damage Acid Torrent deals by 500,000 for 20 seconds. All other targets take, 250,000 based on total target's mitigation. Cool. So that is phase 1 in a nutshell. So let's go take a look at video. This is Del, your video with permission, hopefully. We're going to take a look at another paladin. This is a great paladin. His perspective of PTR testing. I'm not going to use my own videos because I really like his, and he's a great paladin. So here, this is his recording of Orgorger. Now, there's no sound here, so I'm going to walk you guys through it step by step. Here we go. So here comes the pull. Okay, so they are pulling right now. Heroism at the start. Why? Because you will always gain the highest DPS increase with Heroism at the start for most of your bosses. Your pots are up, your cooldowns are up, you just blowing your load all over the boss. Now you see here, the group does stack together. Watch what happens. Wretched Blackrock. What was that ability? Well, that was the Ooze ability, right? Look at them move. Check this out. Spawns on them and they shift. Perfect. Now they shift intelligently, because if they shifted backwards, well, you don't want to backpedal ever out of things, right? That's rating 101 here. You don't want to run forward, because then you'll have to sort of backtrack like this. So they do what's intelligent here and just strafe to the left. Perfect. So here we go. That's more Blackrock Barrage. Perfect. And so they have the boss actually faced the opposite direction that we did last night on PTR. They have the tanks in the middle there. They have the melee on the far side, and they're ranged in one group together. So there's advantage and disadvantage to that as well. Blackrock Barrage, there we go, more damage, ship being interrupted. He's casting here, casting. Acid Torrent, now this is the important one, watch this. Watch the little green shit that comes out of Orgorger's face. Now this ability needs to be interrupted by, or absorbed, blocked by the body of your off-tank. So currently, X-Pariah, I can see here by the aggro windows in the bottom left, he's tanking. So the other tank, and watch the green shit come out, must be absorbed. Okay, so they take very little damage from that acid thing. There, another big thing spawns on them, and they decide to move forward, which is really the logical place to go. Another acid torrent, another big green globule, and again should be interrupted by the bodies of the tanks or whatever. And you see the tank there in the background. More Blackrock, so they're just doing a bit of a grid method here to their shit. They're stacked nice and close, so they guarantee that stuff's going to spawn on them. And here we go. So this is pretty much all of phase 1. Shit spawns on the range, move. Don't stand in it, period. Don't finish your cast, just go. The acid torrent needs to be soaked by your off tank. Here it comes again. Otherwise, you take massive damage. There they threw a barrier down to mitigate it because the tank was not able to do it. How did he absorb it? He didn't absorb all of it, but you take less damage. Less damage overall. Another acid torrent here. And now very soon they're going to get into phase 2, which I'll explain very shortly. So would you ever consider making a training guild? In terms of what? In terms of what kind of training guild? Is there Warlock Coaches Corner near VODs? No, not Warlock Coaches Corners. They're more Paladin-based, but there's plenty of really good Warlocks here, Scott, that can answer your questions. Does the OT stay with the range? I don't understand that spell. So, if you sort of look where they're standing, there's, a Brewmaster and a Warrior tank. Watch where they're standing. The Warrior right now is balls deep in Ore Gorger, and the Brewmaster is a few steps behind where that statue is. That's how they're getting it. I mean, either way, you can completely avoid the mechanic. Like, you can just not deal with it much at all. On normal, not a huge deal. On heroic, it'll be quite a bit of damage. Quite a bit. And you want to make sure they catch the balls every time, as usual. So here comes Acid Torrent. So there, you saw the tank there, right under Ore Gorger, hit it. That's how they took less damage. Now, this is phase 2. Now, this phase is going to be hilarious in LFR. Basically, Ore Gorger, he likes to gorge on ore. He likes to eat ore. He will roll around and crash into walls. Your job as a raid is to kill these ore crates. So whether you decide to split up your raid or keep them all together, both ways are fine. We decided to split up our raid into 2 groups. One group followed Schaumburg, for example. One group followed Ariana. And we stayed together. Now, you want to stay together for heals because there is unavoidable damage whenever he crashes into something. You take 30,000 raid-wide damage, but you have to keep killing these crates until they're all gone. Once they're all gone, you transition back into phase 1. So let's watch them do it here, and this is going to be pretty hilarious. Yeah, it goes to the closest person on the boss. Thanks, Katseta. So there he goes. There he's rolling around. They're killing these ore crates. Let's see what strat they decide to go with. Now, yeah, there we go. Rolling around again. Perfect. He will always stop. He'll either go, he'll never backtrack. Like, he'll never go back. But because he crashed into this wall on the left side there, he could have gone either up or down. Here he decided to go down. Guess what? Get the F out of his way. There, look at the Paladin. Oh, he got stunned. Del was a little slow there. Only could human racial out. Again, you see him, he's going in towards right now. No, Del, no, don't stand there. That was a bad idea. I guess he bubbled. That's fine. So it's always one way or the other way. He'll always go towards the ore. Towards wherever there is more ore. So he does all the way around there, but he does eventually crash into those things. Every time he crashes into that wall, the raid takes damage, which is why you want to keep people together in general. Or mark your healers, for example. But here you go. Yeah, he's going over the ore crates you see here. 20 ore to go. And every time he eats ore, he runs over ore, he gets stronger and faster. So you have to kill the crap out of it. There you go. And the Rolling Fury is over. So he's eaten up all of it. And there we go. Perfect. And again, now it's back into phase 1 here. They had a couple people die, but we had people die as well in our Orgorger kill on PTR. So there's Acid Torrent again. It hits the closest person, which is that, like Insada said here, that tank. Block it with your body. Yeah, so him rolling around, it's going to be a fun fight. The people in LFR is going to get rolled over. The biggest thing I can give you guys for this fight is just don't get rolled over. Always, as much as you can, try to have your camera facing towards the boss here whenever he's rolling around. There's a couple really good diagrams here. I think Fibrilo. I don't know if you're around here, Fibrilo, but I saved this diagram that you made. Check this out. This is Ore Gorger and his only potential paths. If he's going, let's say where he's going to start. He's going to start, I don't know, right where he is right now. Well, that means let's go zoom in for you guys. There. If he's standing where he is right now, he's either going to go around. You guys can't see my mouse right now. He's either going to go around. Actually, I have paint open, don't I? Yeah, perfect. I had paint open ready for this. So here I will use my own artistic skills, and I will use a white color for you guys. Just to explain how he moves. Brushes, let's use a wider brush. Perfect. There. Right, I know how to use paint. So, Ore Gorger is standing right here. Right? Which means he will either go this way, or he will go this way. He faces that direction, and then he will just roll that way. Great. So now Ore Gorger is standing right here. That's the yellow path. He'll either charge this way or he'll charge all the way around. So, knowing when those charges happen, let me just close down one of these. There. Knowing when those charges happen and where you're standing is critical. So now he's charged over to the yellow right here. He's right here. He's either going to charge back this way or he's going to charge all the way around this way to red. Perfect. And now he's over here. Well, he's going to go either to green or back to this way. It depends. It's totally, it's a little bit more random, but it is predictable. Wherever that ore is. And again, that roll is completely avoidable too, guys. Link that? Sure. Oh, shit, I just closed it. Yeah, about that. I just closed it. Can you link the image? I will save. I know there's a copy here, but I'll save it. I'll upload it for you guys. It'll be on the Sparty Smallwood forum. Mad Steps, first time watching your stream. I think giving me advice. Sorry, I missed that message there, but thank you for the tip. I appreciate it. That's really what Coach's Corner is all about. Like, I do a lot of raid leading, guild leading, that kind of stuff, but Coach's Corner is to give you guys strats, boss fights. I want to see you guys down all these bosses. Anyway, thank you for the tip. Sparty, if you don't need any gear from Blackrock Foundry normal, should you go straight into Heroic right away? You do need gear from Blackrock Foundry normal. Are the tier bonuses good for you? Then you need gear. Perfect. So that is Ore Gorger in a nutshell. That's it. I mean, it's phase 1, phase 2. The roll around phase is fun. Yeah, but you can keep them in phase 1 longer. For those of you that are in Mythic guilds trying to do normal or heroic Ore Gorger, you might not even see a phase 1 because your DPS will be that high. Link to the website. I have a link to this website, the blog, which has a lot of great resources for you guys. And then I have the website this way to apply to the guild. So anyway, I'll find that image for you guys again here. I'll upload it to Imager later on tonight or something. Sparty, I'm in a guild. I had one of the people here in chat go over logs to me. Fantastic! I was giving people constructive criticism, and now everyone is pissed off at me saying they don't take advice from a top 100 guild. What? They don't perform well, and now I'm stuck. Don't want to stay in a guild, no progression. Dear, it's that old question. Listen, we all have somewhere to improve. Do I take it personally when a paladin better than me, and straight up better than me, or a raider that is really experienced says, hey, try this. I think you're doing this incorrectly. Try this instead. This is why. People say that to me all the time. The Consadas, the Dracos, Chos here, people that have killed bosses have something to say. It's how they say it, right? Like, it's the Europeans, no offense, I love you Europeans, but you guys are very blunt. Just straight to the point. Sparta, you're sucking at this. You got to do better. Fix it this way. Whereas other people are a little bit more tactful with how they say things. So, we're having trouble on Imperator. Today my hard drive died. I won't be able to play. Oh, that sucks. We had to take a day off last week, and because we didn't get replacements for 2 tanks and 2 heals, either way, I feel like I'm letting my guild down by not raiding with them this week, and we might not be able to kill Imperator before Blackrock Foundry. What's your big message here? How do I keep my guild spirits up if we don't end up killing Imperator, even when I can't log into the game? It sucks. You know what I really like, though, about your tier 5-4? I really like that you feel like you're letting your guild down. I like your dedication. I admire it, because that is the exact same way that I feel whenever I die to shit, or when I'm not around. Like, I have to work late and I can't do anything about it. I feel like I'm letting the guild down because I need to be there to lead by example. But sometimes real life gets in the way. Sometimes emergencies do. Shit happens. You know what? But help motivate them. What's going to motivate them the most? Tell them to kill it without you. Totally let them kill it without you. That'll motivate them even more. They'll say, we don't need this tier 55 guy. We can do it without him. And that's what motivates my guild too. Killing bosses without me. Like, fuck that Sparty guy. Do we plan on killing normal Blackrock Foundry first or going to Heroics? We'll be doing normal first. Usually, anyway. Usually. So for the time out there, it's Nightbot with your long message, tier 554. Will it be worth wearing normal tier gear over Mythic Heimal gear or only Heroic tier? That depends. So I don't have the spreadsheet right now, but there's a spreadsheet out there that really shows how big of a DPS benefit each normal 4-piece or each Heroic 4-piece is. In some cases, it'll be a DPS, like an increase to drop out of your Mythic gear from Heimal and pick up Heroic tier gear. In some cases, not all cases. Some tier gear is absolute garbage for your specs. So, there's a surprise for you on Twitter. What is this? What am I looking for on Twitter here? Let's go look at Twitter. What am I looking at? What about Mavasaur? I don't see anything. All I see is goddamn Mavasaur. Hey Sparty, Gravity wants you really to check out our new guild site. Baleful, shameless plug. Oh, very funny. Very funny. Can someone link that spreadsheet? I don't have it right now. Is this what it is? Steve, do you have it? Perfect. Thank you, Steve310. That's exactly what I wanted. So this is awesome. Thank you so much for linking this. I lost a link to it. This shows you the DPS gain from 2-piece, 4-piece, whatever. Just have to realize how to read this spreadsheet. But thank you for linking it for Steve310. I'm going to add it to my list of resources for you guys. Thanks a ton, man. Thanks a ton. Cool. Okay, I'm just going to go with Orgorger for tonight. I got a couple app things to do. And, yeah, okay, no worries, guys. I got a couple of like guild things to do. I got a guild and app, but I'm gonna wind down. So I know it's a quick coach's corner, but we'll finish off more later on. Yeah, we'll do more later. Link it. Oh, sorry, guys. There you go, guys. There's the link. Yeah, they're single target simulation. So, guys, again, sims, take them with a grain of salt. They are sims. They are not truly indicative of proper DPS. Okay, they're not real-world examples, like Consetta says here. Okay, guys, I'm going to finish off for now. I'm going to go spend some time with Driez, because she deserves it, and she's awesome, and I don't want to be in the doghouse. So, thanks for watching. Tomorrow we'll do more raiding straight up into Mythic Progression. We're not going to be doing the farm bosses this next coming week. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook. Help support the stream by using the Amazon link. Thank you, guys. New subs, welcome. Like 10 new subs today. Welcome to our stream and community. Fantastic. Thanks, guys. So, I will be going through the rest of the Blackrock Foundry bosses, just like I went through Orgorger there. I have a Gruul ready to go. I've got a bunch more to do as well. But throughout the week here, and they will be highlighted. For those of you that missed most of Coach's Corner here, it will always be highlighted. It'll always be on YouTube as well, in case people miss it. So, thanks, guys. Have a good night. Be excellent to each other. Thank you for watching. Mods, thank you for dealing with all the little shitheads this evening. Thanks a ton. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. So, good night. Be excellent to each other, and as always, live your life heroically. Prepare the shit out of your shit. Good night.